Folks, 2 months ago, the Queen left London for her summer holidays in Scotland, and, as we just mentioned, she's now returned home.
Her coffin touched down at a military airport west of the capital.
Absolute military precision. And there you got thousands of people who lined London's rain-sodden streets to see that coffin make its way from the airfield to Buckingham Palace.
It will mark one of the final stages of a solemn journey which began on Sunday at the Queen's Balmoral estate. Let's bring in Jonathan Lee. He's on the Mall. Jono, the coffin was greeted by the new king. We've just seen the new king with Camilla return to probably Clarence House. There are thousands of well wishers once again here at Buckingham Palace in the rain tonight.
Yeah, the heavy rain at the moment, or the soaking rain at least. One last night at home for Her Majesty the Queen. It's a different atmosphere here at the moment. Thousands actually gathered along the Mall, many hoping that the route might be changed at the last moment. And you might have seen Her Majesty coming down the more traditional entrance. The road itself, the asphalt, is painted red. It's intended to replicate a red carpet for the royal family, but it wasn't to be for those who gathered along this strip, and there were thousands along this part of the Mall. But we could hear the choppers punctuating the sky, and it was a very eerie feeling knowing the closer that noise came, the closer Her Majesty got to the palace and to the crowd itself. And then in the distance, you heard the sound of a cheer go up, the applause, as their Queen was brought back home. Incredible. In fact, as we walked around the park, Peter and Laura, the only thing that I could describe it as being similar to was like our Anzac Day, that eerie silence you get as you know you're walking to a shrine of remembrance. And that was certainly how it felt out here. We spoke to a couple of the ladies who were disappointed to miss Her Majesty, but they certainly will make sure they're part of it for the next few days.
Yeah, we're a bit disappointed, but it's a way for me, it was a way to pay my respects. I'm planning to come back tomorrow for when the procession anyway, but I want to be part of the history. I suppose we were just talking about it, and we wanted to be, it feels like a really historic, momentous time for us in Britain. Yeah. I suppose the same for you guys in Australia. Yeah. So we wanted to be here to pay our respects.
People are just talking to one another all the time. I came Saturday to lay flowers. I was just talking to lots of people from America, Spain, all different countries. Yeah. So friendly. Everybody is going to miss her.
Laura and Pete, things are different when you're accustomed to the rain, and already the locals are starting to get their vantage spots to make sure that they see Her Majesty being taken up the Mall tomorrow. Sally is actually next to me. If you don't mind, we might just lean down in the wet. Thank you so much for your time and talking with Australia. You're here amongst the very first to make sure you don't miss the position. Can you describe the poignancy, the power and the emotion of knowing that your Queen is about to cross paths with you, at least tomorrow?
Yes, I think it's, for most people, it felt like a member of your family had died.
Yeah.
And it's affected most of us, even though we knew she was of great age, far more than we expected it to. And you feel you must be here to see it and to say goodbye to her.
Sorry to interrupt you, my apologies. Do you feel different in the darkness?
No.
Okay.
No, that's good.
Okay. I really, really appreciate your time. I know it's going to be a wet and sodden night. Laura and Peter will continue to check in with those throughout the evening, but you get a sense of the wetness. It might be an environmental misery, but they're pretty sturdy around here, and it's going to be a long night, and they're certainly well prepared.
There's just such a sense of anticipation, isn't there, though, here in London at the moment? Wouldn't you agree, Jonathan? Because we've been looking at this procession that has wound its way through Scotland on its way to Edinburgh in the last couple of days, and we've been looking at Her Majesty's coffin all that time. Now we're seeing it in person. We're seeing the military precision around it work firsthand. It's just an extraordinary and such a powerful scene to witness. Would you agree?
Yeah, that snapping military precision. I know you and I talked about it before this all began and what we would expect to see Her Majesty being brought down out of the back of the C-130 Galaxy. That enormous cargo plane, no doubt the weight of her, the oak casket on those men's shoulders as they walk down in precision. The gentleman in front of them making sure that the casket didn't slide forward. The shifting of the flags as they snap them down as well. And then seeing the hearse come back here to Buckingham Palace. The roads clearing, the people hopping out of their vehicles and paying respect. They might have never had the opportunity to see Her Majesty, but they wanted to make sure, with this being a moment in time, they didn't miss it. And that is being replicated throughout the city. It's incredible, Pete. We're all very, very lucky to be here. This is an inflection point in history and everyone feels it.